Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're going to tackle something that kind of pushes back against a really common idea.
Hmm.
The whole weight loss is just calories in, calories out thing, simple math.
Right. It sounds straightforward. Too straightforward, maybe.
Exactly, because
Mm.
what if the real transformation, like the deep stuff, actually kicks off after you hit that number on the scale?
That is precisely the core idea from Dan Hollis.
Yeah.
His work, especially Slim by Science, really got us thinking.
Yeah.
He draws this line, a really crucial one. Weight loss is biology.
Yeah.
Staying there is narrative.
Okay, narrative.
Yeah, it makes you stop and think, okay, the body changed, but then what? What comes
'Cause
next?
that really is the heart of it, isn't it? So that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to explore that psychological space, the bit that opens up after the weight loss.
The often unspoken part.
Totally. We're digging into sources inspired by Hollis, looking at those challenges, the deeper meaning that comes out when that initial biological drive, that noise starts to fade.
Right.
So let's unpack this Hollis idea. Weight loss is biology. Staying there is narrative. What's he actually getting at with narrative? It sounds big, but what does it mean on the ground?
Well, yeah. What does it look like?
When you've lost the weight, maybe you look in the mirror and don't quite connect, or your clothes fit, but the internal story feels, I don't know, out of sync.
It's fascinating, actually. He points to something most programs just gloss over. Identity grief.
Identity grief. Wow.
Yeah. It's not just about the scale. It's is someone looking at themselves thinking, okay, the weight's off. Now, who the heck am I?
Huh.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe you were always the big one in your group, or food was your go-to for every feeling.
Right, your coping mechanism.
Exactly. And when that's gone or lessened, there's this actual grief for that old self, even if it wasn't healthy. It's the quiet after the party. The change happened outside, but inside.
Inside is still catching up. But
Precisely.
that phrase, identity grief, that's really striking. It makes me think, okay, if that hunger doesn't just disappear, but maybe morphs into confusion or like a void, what do you do with that? Because
Yeah.
the sources really stress that people don't relapse into hunger, they relapse into confusion. How does Hollis suggest filling that new space?
Well, he'd say you build.
yeah.
You scaffold. You weave new rituals into the old fabric of your day.
Okay.
See, Dan doesn't see hunger as the enemy you need to crush. It's more like a signal.
Yeah.
Maybe something deeper needs attention, needs a name.
Ah.
Which is why support for him isn't just nice to have. It's neurobiological scaffolding.
Neurobiological scaffolding. Okay, break that down.
It sounds technical, but it just means support helps physically build and strengthen the brain pathways for new habits, new ways of thinking. It literally helps rewire your responses.
So it's structural, not just emotional support.
Exactly. Foundational.
And this connects to the new tools we're seeing, right? Like semaglutide. For a lot of people, these medications can create that pause, that quiet from the constant appetite noise.
A significant quiet, yeah.
But Hollis warns that silence itself, it can be dangerous. Why would less craving noise be a risk? That seems counterintuitive.
It does, right. But it's a key point. While the meds quiet the biology, Hollis argues that in that quiet, well, that's when the buried stuff tends to come up.
The stuff food was covering.
Precisely. The deeper emotional truths, he puts it starkly. When the cravings stop, the truth begins.
Wow. Okay.
And look, that's not a knock on the medication. It just shows you the next level of work that's needed.
Right.
It highlights why that neurobiological scaffolding, that support system, is so vital. It's structural. You're not just dealing with the food urge anymore. You're facing why you reach for food in the first place.
That really changes how you think about setbacks, too. We're so trained to see a plateau or regaining some weight as like total failure, proof we're broken, or just can't stick with it.
Oh, absolutely. The shame cycle.
Yeah. But Dan flips that script. For him, setbacks aren't failures to be ashamed of. They're predictable.
Predictable. Yeah. Almost expected. There are moments when the body and mind are trying to, like, recalibrate, maybe bring those old stories up for one last look.
Okay.
He uses this analogy of a spiral staircase, not a straight line.
Right. I like that.
You might feel like you're revisiting old ground, seeing old patterns pop up, but you're actually still moving upwards, just
Yeah.
incrementally.
Okay. Still climbing.
Still climbing. And he really emphasizes pacing. Fast results don't mean lasting results. Pacing is protection.
Pacing is protection.
Yeah. So when an old craving hits or an old habit tempts you, it's not you being weak. It's memory. It's an old neural path lighting up, asking, hey, still relevant.
And the difference now is
Now you have the agency, hopefully the new scaffolding, to actually choose a different response, to answer differently.
Okay, so setback isn't proof the meds failed or you failed. It's more like a signal. A signal that the story you're living needs an update. A chance to pause and ask, okay, what's really going on here? What do I need now?
And who am I becoming?
Who do I want to become? Yeah, as that old identity fades. That feels like the real Dan Hollis difference. It's inquiry, not judgment.
Absolutely. It's about deep inquiry.
Yeah.
And ultimately, weight loss can change your body, sure. But Hollis is clear, only story can change your future.
Only story can change your future.
And he gives this pretty stark warning, too. Biology will give you results that psychology will dismantle if you don't address that underlying narrative.
Wow. So the biology gets you there, but the psychology keeps you there.
Or undermines it, yeah. It's the psychological piece that makes the transformation stick long term.
And what's so compelling is that Hollis isn't just about the medication or the food plan. He offers, what did he call it, language, scaffolding, and narrative memory.
Yeah, the tools.
He's actually giving people the tools to navigate that really complex inner world to, as he says, come home to themselves, to really build and live in that new identity.
It's a much more holistic view, and his final message kind of sums it all up. It's expansive.
Yeah.
He says, this journey isn't about eating less. It's about living more.
Living more.
Yeah.
That is a powerful thought to leave things on for this deep dive. Something for you, the listener, to maybe sit with. When those cravings do quiet down, when your own truth maybe starts to get a bit louder, what does living more actually mean for you?
Yeah, what does that look like?
What news stories, what neurobiological scaffolding might you start consciously building? What opens up when those old patterns start to loosen their grip? What's possible then?